This is my F1 in Schools team clutch control. We've just contested the national final. How do we go? You'll have to watch to find out.
The team from Clutch Control.
This is Clutch Control. They're an F1 in Schools team, which is the largest STEM competition in the world. You might not think it by looking at some of this footage, but they're actually pretty smart. So smart in fact that they were the reigning state champions for New South Wales in the development class. Their car was the fastest on the track. They won a great deal of awards in qualifying for the national final in Tasmania. That's where we pick up this story. Last week we boarded a plane to Tasmania and jetted down to Launceston to compete in the F1 in Schools national finals. From 22,000 students entering the competition, they'd made it down to the very end. At the airport, they hijacked the internet kiosk to put on teaching tech. Thanks guys. Our venue in Launceston was the Door of Hope. I think it's a really big church converted from an old factory. On the outside it looks really industrial, but the inside is modernised and really cool. Our job on the first day was to unpack our cars and do the final assembly. We decided to ship them in components so that way we could get the weights exactly how we needed them. The target weight was 52 grams, and to achieve this we had a hollow front wing where we could put in blue tack to ballast them up to the exact weight. This is the first team I've ever had that managed to get every car, even the pit display car, on exactly 52 grams. We were looking really good. These cars accelerate to 80 kilometers an hour in about 1 second, and they're completely designed on 3D CAD before they're 3D printed and CNC machined out of a balsa block. Will gave the thumbs up, so we headed inside to submit all of our project elements. Besides the stick it up cars, teams are required to submit a range of portfolios and other documents. The racing only actually makes up about 20% of the competition. The rest of it comes from presentations and interviews. First major job done, we decided to leave and check out our accommodation. Only a couple of blocks away, the boys had booked a series of apartments for all of us to stay. Booking all of the accommodation, airfare and transport is something that's not really marked in the competition, but it's one of the greatest areas where kids have to grow because they need to be responsible and make sure they get things right. If you're looking for a new challenge, then why not go interstate, leaving everything up to some 15-year-olds. Tomorrow was a big day in setting up for the rest of the competition, so Finn and Rowan got down to cooking us delicious spaghetti bolognese. We were ready to perform. Monday was pit display setup day. Ours was designed to fit in carry-on luggage and we took it with us on the plane. Valent as manager drew the short straw. We strutted into the venue determined to make a splash. Our black overalls were donated by Blackheath Automotive and would be a perfect way to stand out on the first day. Sponsors like this is really what makes this trip possible. Inside, some of the brightest minds in the country assembled for some presentations from industry professionals. They learn about marketing, time management, graphics and engineering. We then learned that the chief judge had checked through all of the cars overnight and will call out those who had infringements. Ours was called out and we were whisked into a room with 20 minutes to fix it.
Inside we've just got a warning that there's some issue with our car. So Peter and Will have gone inside to try and fix it. They've got 20 minutes. If they can't fix it, we got a time penalty.
Not knowing what the problem was, the rest of the team waited anxiously outside.
The tether guard in the front wing, they classified it as unsafe because it was too brittle. So we snapped it off and put a regulation tether guard in the car.
We removed the front wing tether guard and replaced it with one of the standard tether guards, which goes into the body.
Crisis averted, so we headed in for the pit display setup.
We're about to set up our trade booth and build it. We've got 2 hours to construct it, and yeah, hoping it goes well.
My guys had done a practice before we left school, but they weren't very confident that the pit display was going to turn out very good. All of the teachers were locked out of the room and the students got to work. As far as I was concerned, our setup was pretty foolproof.
Okay, so update, Rowan and Finn accidentally chopped off the top of the pit display, so now they're taping it back together. Nice one, lads. Nice one. Peter's over chopping up some bed sheet.
Luckily they managed to sort out all of the problems, working together as a team to overcome and end up with a pretty good display. The doors opened, all the teachers came back into the room and it was transformed. I'll let Rowan talk you through our display.
Okay, so all of it was shipped in like one small box and a PVC tube as well. So all of these posters here are nice and thin and they've been glued onto the back of core flute, and then we put double-sided tape behind them and stuck them up. All the 3 sheets were then taped together and we then put them into the back of the board as well. Down here as well we have the 3 iPads displaying our sponsors, some of the cars starting and our website, as well as the spinning car in the pit display. We have a 2-to-1 ratio car here as well, and our old state car as well. Also down here we have the National Final Engineering Portfolio, the Enterprise Portfolio, and the Compliance Booklet as well. Along the top here we have our sponsors again, the logo, and our rendered car on the back. We have all our sponsors here as well, so we've got Blue Mountain Solar, the Hydro Majestic, Western Sydney, Teaching Tech, Epox Engineering, as well as all the sponsors that come with the REA Foundation. So, this is our RGB logo here. The box was given to us by one of our sponsors, and then the logo was cut out on the laser cutter.
Everyone on this side of the room in development class is only 15 or 16 years old at most, and it's their first time in the competition. You have to admit these displays are incredibly impressive, outdoing many professional ones you might have seen in the past. Hard job over, we packed up all of our gear and put it into storage.
Thank you, Blackie Automotive.
REA had catered for dinner for all the teams so we could reflect upon the day so far.
And went in to do our pit display, which turned out probably about a 7 out of 10. It's better than we expected it to be, but it's not as good as some of the other development class pit displays.
The boys splashed out and spent $1.17 each on team watches before the competition.
The team watch is really what defines us as a team. It solidifies our identity. Without it in the uniforms, we'd be nothing.
All of the teams were extremely grateful for such a great barbecue dinner. They relaxed and they socialised, preparing themselves for a tough first day of competition tomorrow. After months of preparation, it was time for the competition to actually begin. The boys set up their pit display and then got to showing off their new team uniforms. The project cost was several $1,000s, and without these sponsors, it just couldn't have happened. Master of Ceremonies Rick got things underway, and the kids waited patiently while some industry professionals who sponsored the competition got things going.
There they go.
It was time for the judges to do their thing, working through the project elements of 31 teams, the brightest across the nation. Clutch Control took this chance to check out the pit displays of some of their rivals, including those in the professional class. After this, they strode off ready for their first engineering CAD talk. The team had meticulous preparation for this engineering talk. All they had to do was hope the judges accepted the way they had chosen to do things and that were able to justify all of their design decisions. Meanwhile, back on track, the racing continued with other classes. After 30 minutes, they emerged.
The judges were really happy with lots of the decisions we made, and they seemed to understand everything. It was pretty easy to argue for our cause though, because we did everything for a reason. But they seemed really happy about some of the stuff we did, like marking all the regulations on our compliance drawings. Overall, I think it went well. We tried to include all the team members, and yeah, we're all happy with how it turned out.
A little while later, another team of judges approached the pit booth for our marketing talk. They had to justify their branding, marketing, and return of investment for sponsors.
Last presentation was talking about the marketing of our team. I think it went pretty well, all things considered. The judges came to us, we talked about the pit display with the pit display behind us, so we were able to use it as reference for our points. We had the portfolios as well, and we also had the iPads playing the displays, so we could have everything there as reference behind us instead of taking everything with us. We got most of the things in the presentation covered, and the judges seemed to be quite happy.
In the afternoon, it was time for Clutch Control's time on track. The first races would be automatic racing, which means the computer launched them and no manual intervention was needed to start the cars. Our 2 cars would race twice in each lane for a total of 4 runs. Every score counted and consistency was key. We were paired against the Queensland State Champions, and we later discovered at that stage they had the fastest car of the day. Our times were up and down. We later discovered we had a problem that we wouldn't get on top of until the following day. Meanwhile, Finn had forgotten his toothbrush, so he asked Rick the MC to make a presentation.
Here you go, mate. You can go and shine those bright teeth, and you'll have nice breath tomorrow as well. Thank you very much. I'd like to thank whoever got this toothbrush. We haven't been able to go to the store since the first day, and by then I didn't even realise I didn't have my toothbrush. Well done, well said. Thanks to all his teammates. We're here to make good locally. Finn can now go and brush his teeth.
After our automatic racing had finished, we discovered our clip-on front wing was moving around during the pass. On one run it got out of the blocks lightning fast, but then it flipped up 90 degrees, acting like a big parachute and letting the other car pass. We applied as much super glue as we could to try and get everything stuck down into place. That finished off our competition, but for clutch control, the day's activities were only just beginning. The Door of Hope is an interesting venue in which it has a gym attached, so our team decided that we'd like to have a team training session. After we had finished showing all of the regular gym goers how buff we were, we decided to head home. There was still work to do on the verbal presentation that was tomorrow. This was probably the most character building night of the whole trip. The team struggled to stay on task and procrastination was rife. This was, however, our defining moment. Against all adversity, we stayed up late, finishing the job until it was done to a really high standard. Lesser teams would have quit halfway through and not been prepared, but clutch control, we were ready to go.
Well, we stayed up till like very early this morning, working on our verbal presentation. It was nearly 3 o'clock by the time we went to sleep. And we've got engineering talks in under an hour and a verbal presentation at 10. But eventually, we did practice our verbal presentation and it is much better. Only slight distractions of Corky Butchek Bing Bong.
Bing bang, ding 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 ding. Bing bang bong, take them bang, ding 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 ding. Bing bang bong, bing 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 ding bang bang ding 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 ding.
The team might have been tired, but they were much better prepared. We had a range of props and a really slick Google Slides presentation, ready to show the judges everything to do with how we made the car. 30 minutes later,
The camp talk went well. We got through all the topics that we wanted to talk about, as well as getting some questions from the judges, which we could answer. They were impressed about the cutting jig for the CNC router, as well as the angle checking. It's a new rule in the competition, and Peter designed a piece of plastic which was 3D printed, which would check the angles.
we had an hour break where we chose to rehearse the team presentation as many times as we could fit. They were pretty tired and they were pretty nervous, but the run-throughs were getting better and better. Do you remember that silly picture Balint showed us on his desktop a little while earlier? Well, here it is, in full view of the judges. Although they never would have chosen to do this on purpose, it probably helped them a lot. It lifted the mood in the room and made them relax a lot more. After what seemed like an eternity, they managed to get it off and start the presentation. This is where all of their planning paid off. Even though there was some stuttered words from nerves, all of the team members knew their parts well. They moved through each slide, which was designed to match the marking criteria exactly. Their strongest section was probably the links to defence industry, which they bolstered after realising it was worth twice as much marks as the other sections.
We were all a bit deprived of sleep, so we were all playing jokes and getting a picture of a really ugly guy. And then we cleared the whole presentation from that for the judges, because obviously we're not on that to show up. But then Bullet booted up his computer and plugged the HDMI in. The judges, the desktop background of Bullet's computer, which is the ugly guy, for like a solid 2 minutes because he couldn't figure out how to change it. But after that, the presentation went really well. It was our best run through, and it was in front of the judges. But they said the biggest criteria, the defence force industry bit, they said they wouldn't change anything about that, and it was really good.
If there's one thing I appreciate about this team, it's their sense of humour. But for now, it was time to get racing. Our second time on track introduced manual launches, which tests reaction time. Again, the speed of our car was inconsistent. The front wing was still separating after some launches, and we turned to the super glue to try and fix everything.
Gotta go fast.
It was really frustrating, but we seemed to be slowly getting on top of the issue.
I had a bit of an issue with the car in the first race. The wing snapped off again. I'll have to redesign that if we move through. And it's slightly better than state, but not as good as we wanted. My reaction times were not as good as I wanted. Not as good as state either. I know lots of the other teams and some of the winners who are leading right now have time penalties, so once it all adjusts back in, hopefully we can make it up to top 3. We'll just have to see in due course, I guess.
Here are some of the pit displays from the professional teams. It means all of these teams have competed before and have experience. Can you believe that high school students have created all of this? They have augmented reality, virtual reality, interactive electronics displays, you name it, they've got it. How impressive is that? We had about 3 hours to fill before the bonus points knockout tournament. Given how late our night was, I think my use of the time was the smartest of all. We were ranked 5th after regular racing, so we were up against the number 4 team. Confidence was on our side.
How do you feel compared to this time yesterday when you hadn't brushed your teeth?
Feel a lot better. Morally, physically, it's just great.
Front wing issues rectified, suddenly our car was a monster. We won our quarterfinal comfortably. On the first day we were running in the 1.2s, now all of a sudden we were running in the 1.0s, one of the fastest teams, professional or development, in the whole competition. Next was the semi-final. Again, we outpaced a team who on paper should have been a lot faster than us. Finn celebrated the only way he knew how.
Coming here from Launceston, represent the nation of...
We'd stormed into the knockout final tomorrow and team spirit was at its highest. United, we headed out for a team dinner at the local Chinese restaurant. It's a good thing we raised so much money because it takes a lot of food to feed 5 hungry teenage boys. Good food, good service, good company. Satisfied and relaxed, we headed home ready to find out our results tomorrow. All of the cheap watches had broken, but the team was pumped and ready for action.
Today we're doing some social activities. I booked us in for an art gallery, which everybody really loved that decision. So we're going to this art gallery, then we've got a planetarium show booked at 1 o'clock. Then after that, coming back to the LCC at 4:30 and racing our cars. The final of the knockout tournament.
So far we'd been pretty well confined to a single area of Launceston, so this was our first chance to be tourists and get out and see how the city looked. There was a lot of cool old industrial buildings that have been repurposed in a modern way. Overall, I'd say it's very relaxed but very cosmopolitan. All of the locals are also very friendly and easy to get along with. The museum and art gallery was a great way to spend the day. We saw a range of interesting exhibitions ranging from dinosaurs, World War I, through to physics, and finally a show in the planetarium. Entry is via Dinotion only, so if you're in Launceston and you're looking for something to do with your family, we highly recommend this place. A bonus is that many of the exhibits are interactive. This group of teenage boys were thoroughly entertained. Satisfied, we headed home, stopping on the way for team ice creams and Garfield Thomas the Tank Engine rides. Fast forward to the night time, where it was time for the presentation ceremony. It was Will's birthday, so we made him wear a sash, which he really loved. The team engaged with members of the public for the final time to explain their project. By this stage we were good friends with a number of other teams. Clutch Control and all of the other teams toured the room, checking out each other's pit displays and socialising. The mood was really relaxed. The hard work was done, and regardless of what result was coming, everyone was self-satisfied with their work. I became obsessed with this game, attempting to beat the high score but missing out by 0.003 of a second. A special shout out to our neighbours, the Penrith Pistons, who were in the professional class. Finally the time came for the knockout final, and we were feeling pretty confident. Peter took the controller ready for the first race. A clear victory for Clutch Control, one more race to go to secure the title. Peter had the worst reaction time of his life, but it didn't matter, the time from our fastest race was enough for the victory. This meant we knew we were going to receive at least one award on stage. Next was the final of the professional class knockout, with the Penrith Pistons, our neighbours, triumphing over the Soda Chargers. Congratulations to them in what's only their second year participating in the competition.
So we just won the knockout championships for the development class. First race of the knockouts we smashed Caterpillar, which is a local team here in Tasmania. And then the second race, I don't know what happened, but when I reacted to the thing, I was just zoned out for a second or something. But our reaction times for the second one were pretty poor. But it didn't seem to matter, and we still won the knockouts. So far tonight has been really good.
We sat down for dinner, sharing a table with the professional team, zero friction. Time for the awards. We got up on stage for our participation medal, and then this happened.
And firstly, for development class, the winner of Best Verbal Presentation here at the National Final is the team from Clutch Control, Blue Mountains Grammar School in New South Wales. Congratulations.
It turns out staying up late and persevering was totally worth it. I'm so pleased the team was rewarded for all of their hard work and effort. Our tablemate Zero Friction then won the award for Most Outstanding Industry Collaboration in Professional Class. Well done, boys. The night had started well, but fortunately there was even more to come.
Clutch Control from the Blue Mountains Grammar School in New South Wales.
We had won the award for Best Team Innovation, another great result.
And firstly in development class, that was taken out by Clutch Control. Please congratulate them from Blue Mountains Grammar in New South Wales.
Now we knew this one was coming, but it was awesome to be on stage again. For our team, the night was getting better and better.
There is a significant reason that he and Clutch Control are actually wearing party hats down at the back of the room, and Finn's going to elaborate on that, and I think we're going to ask all of you in the room very shortly to join in a bit of a chorus, aren't we?
Yep. May I? Good evening, everyone. Hope you're all enjoying your night. There is a birthday in this room if you haven't been able to figure that out yet. William, table 26. Could you please stand up, Mr. Birthday Boy? William Hedges, everyone. 15 years of age. Finally old enough to go see the big boy movies at the cinema. Congratulations, buddy. Now, no birthday is complete without the singing of the classic Happy Birthday song, so I was wondering if you could all join me in this moment. Just in case you forgot, his name is Will, so there's not that awkward silence in the middle where everyone's like, All right, everybody, on me. 1, 2, 3. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear William. Happy birthday to you. Hip, hip. Hip, hip. Hip, hip. Thank you.
Well done, Finn. Happy birthday, William. Well done, Finn. And ladies and gentlemen, Finn's going to join you after the break to take the rest of the night here on stage to present the awards. That was fantastic. I think I'm out of a job.
Outstanding job, Finn, and happy birthday, Will. All of the minor awards were over, and now it was time for the podium for the development and professional classes.
Third place, development class 2018 is Clutch Control from Blue Mountains Grammar School in New South Wales.
Our minimum goal was always to make the podium. I think the boys were a little bit disappointed at this stage, but it shows how well they did that third place seemed like it was not really good enough. Over time, I think it'll sink in just how good their achievement is.
Team Perspective. Ignite Racing.
Congratulations to Perspective and Ignite Racing on a great showing for the Victorian teams. We wish you all the very best in Singapore.
Let's congratulate our third place in professional class for 2018. It is Zero Friction. Second place, professional class 2018, IOTA. Our champions, national champions for 2018 professional class is Horizon.
Congratulations to the professional class teams on their outstanding results. Once again, all the best in Singapore. As it turned out, both teams on our table ended up on the podium for both development and professional class. Well done, Zero Friction. Ceremony over, it was time for the pack down. It seems such a shame to rip down all this brilliant student work from around the room, but at least it's captured in this video forever. All of the helium balloons have disappeared from the room. I wonder where they went.
Make sure to like and subscribe to Teaching Checks YouTube channel. Clutch Control coming at you live from one last time in Launceston. Catch you guys later.
The team counted up all their money and worked out they had enough to get themselves to Cataract Gorge. This is a beautiful, beautiful place, highly recommended by anyone who we told we were going to Launceston. It provides the perfect backdrop for the team to deliver their final thoughts on their experiences and what they've learned from the competition.
Some parts were stressful and we stayed up really late, but I think all the work that all the team members put in was like really beneficial.
I'm most proud of the verbal presentations after we thought we weren't going to do very well after the practicing, after being nervous and then somehow coming through and getting first place in development.
I had no idea how to use CAD and on sheet before this, and then because of this, I know I'm pretty confident with it now. I can produce what I want. Yeah, I just raised the whole car up, hollow the bottom out, and I'd also changed to top and bottom CNCing and cut the wing out separately on the rear.
One of our other team members gave me a birthday presentation up in front of everyone, which was slightly awkward but really hilarious.
I think Launceston is pretty industrialised. I think they've kind of revamped the city in a really way that looks really nice. The gorge here as well is really lovely. It looks really beautiful.
This is definitely nice. Got some nice views here. I liked all the shenanigans that happened in the house. Oh yeah, then there was third place, that's pretty good, but that's not as important as anything else.
Life skills wise, I've learned how to work as a team, I've learned how to manage a group, we've learned how to live individually for a week, do our groceries, all that sort of a thing.
Some of the favourite moments are staying up till 2 or 3 a.m, working on our speeches and just not being able to do anything because we're so distracted and off task.
I think the whole trip has been a massive learning curve for all of us. We've definitely learned more than we would have in a week of school. Everyone's learnt a lot of stuff about their certain topics and about each other's roles, and it's been a fantastic experience.
Generally, being with the boys was a lot of fun.
And it's been great fun.
Personally, I couldn't be prouder of the boys for their effort as a team. They did this competition because they had to for their school-based assessment. As they progressed through the competition, they just got better and better, becoming the third best team in Australia in only their first go. Even though they've learnt technical skills that were translated to the classroom, for me that's not really that important. What I'm most pleased with is the way they've matured, the way they've gained confidence, and how employable they'll be in the future. If you have the chance to enter a competition like this one, or one just like it, have a go. The worst thing that can happen is that you learn a great deal. Who knows, if you try your hardest, you might end up being third best in all of Australia. G'day, it's Michael again. If you liked the video, then please click like. If you want to see more content like this in future, click subscribe and make sure you click on the bell to receive every notification. If you really want to support the channel and see exclusive content, become a patron. Visit my Patreon page. See you next time.